hi everyone. So today we're going to take a look at ChatGPT, 7 ways that I use it to garden. I'm no expert gardener, so I have found that it helps me a fair bit. One of the reasons I started this channel was to help others, so hopefully you'll get something out of it as well. If you have any ideas or comments or anything else, I encourage you to comment below, and maybe we can help some other people out. Okay, here's ChatGPT. You can use it for lots of different things, just kind of regular searches we're used to on Google. Up to September 2021 of data is what it uses. But for gardening and things, a lot of things are just kind of known. So yeah, simple things like what is my frost date in Toronto? Obviously, you can get this through Google as well. It will just give you that. But you can make it kind of more powerful too. When do I plant tomato seedlings indoors? 6 to 8 weeks. So based on that, means you should plant in mid-March, late March. So that's kind of helpful. But what I find most powerful is when you combine things. So you can give it a list of items. So we'll say create a table. Plant, what else? Cosmos. And it will create that for you. So it's obviously pretty powerful. It's a lot of searches. You could get those dates, obviously, but it's more kind of research. But in this format, it gives you right away. It can get even more powerful. So include date. I should move outdoors. You can increase other things. You can include shade tolerance. Again, like anything, you should probably check, double check some of these things. But I think for a quick kind of overview, your initial kind of Google, I actually use it more often than Google. Include harvest dates. So it basically takes the research out of your research. So instead of going to, I don't know, 2 or 3 different cucumber sites and finding out this stuff or looking on the back of your packages, you can have it all in one spot, and you can deal with that however you like. I also use ChatGPT for coming up with ideas. So you can create tables. Again, I enjoy tables. You can use lists or other formats. Get to write little, summaries of things. But yeah, so let's create a table of shade-loving plants that flower in Toronto. We'll say, 15? 15. We'll make it 10, actually. So what I find interesting is depending on when you do the type, if you've done this in a chat format, it will remember what you've said before. If you start a new chat, it will kind of produce different things. It doesn't seem to do it all the time, the same output, but you can see here, for whatever reason, I guess because of the flower in Toronto, it's thought that was important, so it's given me the flower color, the bloom time, it's given me the light requirements, it's also given me the height. Which is fantastic. Again, this would take a lot of time, at least for me, I don't know all of these, to look all of these up. They're not always entirely accurate, I have to admit. You know, I found some weird things, I've questioned it, and it kind of fixes itself. But again, I think this is very similar to Google. I've gone to sites that tell me something needs full sun. I've gone to other sites where it says it's shade tolerant, you know, clay soil and more loose draining soil. So yeah, there's lots of different ways. You can, you know, harder kind of things to find. Shade loving fruits. Right, this is obviously a little bit harder. Might take you a little bit longer to find. But yeah, there's can give you a bunch of ideas. In this format, I didn't ask it to do a table, so it gives you a little bit more of a write-up. If you don't like that, you can always stop. Just list in table format. And it'll do that as well. You can have it summarize things as well if you need to. I have used it to look up products as well, what's inside of seed mixes and things. I found it not quite as accurate. I think it's probably because it's finding similar packages. When I've done kind of wildflower mixes and things like that, it will give me some items that aren't in that specific wildflower mix, and they're in kind of similar wildflower mixes that the same company sells. So you do have to be careful in that regard, but yeah, this is incredibly powerful for ideas, and so I do recommend using it. And of course, you can ask it regular questions like, are my tomatoes splitting? Explains that. Goes over some different possible reasons. So again, in this case, I even knew of this term before, blossom end rot, but you can type in, you know, why the end's black, and it will figure it out for you. You could find this on different sites and things, but again, it's basically generating a little article or website for you on your exact question without you having to search. Okay, so say you have a list of fruit trees. Generates a list. Maybe I like the look of this list. Stores sell these plants. I'll make it say names only. That's what I enjoy about the chat feature. It's as if you're talking to someone. Okay, so you liked these places. Upload website. I will do that as well. Simply track down whatever you're looking for. You can always expand the list as well. This is often where I find it does start giving you, not necessarily the 10 to 20, but if you're asking for 30 or 50 or things like that. So if you have a specific, so say a pawpaw is very, not too many places would have it. It's obviously a little harder. I know for sure Whiffletree definitely does sell them. I don't know the other websites as well. But yeah, it's incredibly helpful when you're looking for something that's very specific, like a pawpaw or some other hard to find plant, or even just generic plants, obviously, that you can get at Home Depot or Canadian Tire or something like that. Okay. One of the final items I use it often for, again, is kind of idea generation, but this could be how to arrange something, how to do planting different species. So if we just start off with a list of plants. So as you can see, it kind of generally gives you an idea. It'll give you a write-up as well. Of bed to back. There you have it. So again, I encourage people to double check these heights and things like that. I find them generally accurate. Occasionally there's an oddball in there, but yeah, this isn't a bad idea of how to do it, especially if you didn't have any idea about these plants. So yeah, it's kind of helpful in that regard as well. Another item you can use it for is just general information. List steps to plant blueberry. Gives you some information as well. What needs acidic soil. Talks about fertilization. Even has some items for pruning. And recommends how to protect from birds, so I find that quite helpful as well. So that's 7 ways that I use ChatGPT to garden. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, like. I'll keep making these.